Okay, I wanted to go ahead and work through a lot of the P3 pretest, sorry, for you guys so you can see examples on how to do some of these to help for when we come in on Tuesday to finish those practice problems. So I'm just going to start and try to work through all of them for you, and hopefully this doesn't take too long. For number one, when you're finding slope, remember you can always just use your formula for slope if you don't want to plot them, where it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this would be 6 minus a negative 2 over 1 minus a negative 3, minus negatives turn to plus positives. So I have 8 over 4, which reduces to 2. Make sure you completely reduce your answers. On number 2, it says use the 0.52 in the slope of the line m equals 0 to find 3 additional points the line passes through. When you are thinking about your slope, if the line goes like this, then slope is 0. If the line goes like this, then slope is undefined. So kind of as a little reminder there. So I'm looking at the 0.52. A slope of 0 means it's going to go straight across for all of these points. That means my y value is 2. So it's going to be something x and then a y value of 2, which fits with option 2. Determine the slope of this line. So I am going to need to solve it for y. I'm going to come over here so I have just a little bit more space. I want my y by itself, so I'm going to move everything else to the right side. Notice that this was originally in standard form, shooting for slope-intercept form because it just makes it so I can quickly see my slope and then my y-intercept for number 4. Dividing both sides by 2. Make sure you divide everything by 2. So that's negative 3 halves x and then plus 1. So my slope is going to be negative 3 halves. My y-intercept, I did not take off on the pretest last night if you just put 1, but your y-intercept is a point. It needs to be listed as such, so it should be 0, 1. For 5, find an equation of the line that passes through negative 3, 6 and has a slope equal to negative 2. Write the equation in standard form. So I'm going to do kind of like what I did for the warm-up today, where I have my standard slope-intercept form. I plug my x and y values in for x and y. I can plug my slope in for m, and then I'm finding b. End up with 6 equals 6 plus b. Subtract my b over. Subtract my 6 over, so I'm going to have 0 equals b, which means I'm looking at y equals negative 2x plus 0. That's slope-intercept form. For standard form, I need everything on the left side. So I'm bringing my x over. I need it equal to 0. I didn't have a number left over since my y-intercept was 0. On number 6, find an equation of the line passing through those 2 points. Write the equation in standard form. For 7, it has me doing it the same 2 points in slope-intercept form. Based on my experience with you guys, you tend to do really, really well with, or better at least with slope-intercept form, so I'm going to focus on using that kind of like I did on number 5. First, I need to find my slope. So I'm going to subtract my y's over, and then I'm going to subtract my x's. That gives me negative 4 over 10, which is negative 2/5. You do need to reduce that. Then I can use that y equals mx plus b, like I have right here. I can use that again. So I'm going to have, and it doesn't matter which point you use, I'm just going to use the first point. Y is 2 equals mx, so m is negative 2/5, x is negative 5, and then plus b. When I multiply that, I get a positive 2 plus b. So just like on the previous problem, b ends up equaling 0. So for my slope-intercept form, I can say y equals negative 2/5 x. And I don't really need the plus 0, it's implied. To do my, standard form, I'm going to come over here just a little bit. Y equals negative 2/5 x is what I had. I want everything on the same side. So 2/5 x plus y equals 0. I need no fractions, so I can multiply the whole thing by 5. So I get 2x plus 5y equals 0. Now everything's on the left. It's set equal to 0. The x is positive. There's no fractions. That's my standard form. Okay, I have to close this out and pull up a new one so that I can get the last couple of questions. So give me just a second. Okay, so that was 7. Oh, we're ready for 8. I apologize for this right here. There's nothing I can do to make that go away though. Alright, use the following intercept form to find the equation of the line with an x-intercept of negative 5/6 and a y-intercept of 0, negative 7/3. The intercept form of the equation of a line has intercepts at a0 and 0b and is x over a plus y over b equals 1. And of course, a and b can't be 0 since they are the denominator. So I want to plug my x-intercept, which is my a, in right here for a. So I'm going to have x over negative 5/6 and then plus y over, and that was a negative 7/3 equals 1. X divided by negative 5/6 is really a negative 6/5 x, because dividing by that fraction I was able to just flip it and multiply. So same here, now I have 3/7 y equals 1. There we go. I was just checking if I had specified what sort of form I wanted it in. I do want it in standard form, so I'm going to bring everything over here. So bringing my 1 over. Whoops, daisy. There you go. Minus 1 equals 0. And I know I want it in standard form because that's the way all these options are set up, is in standard form. I cannot have any fractions, and I can notice over here there's no fractions. So you want to multiply to get rid of the 5. So I'm going to multiply everything by 5. So I have negative, sorry, my pen stopped. Negative 6x minus 15 sevenths y minus 5 equals 0. And then I need to get rid of that 7 that's on the bottom, so I'm going to multiply by that. Negative 42x minus 15y minus 35 equals 0. You notice that does match the bottom one except for the negatives. If I divide everything by negative 1 or multiply everything by negative 1, however you want to look at it, you end up with 42x plus 15y plus 35. I know that is probably a new equation, this up here, that you've seen, but even if you've never seen it, I tell you the x-intercept right here is negative 560, and then I tell you that my intercepts are a0 and 0b. a0 is going to have to go with the x-intercept since the 0 is in the y spot, which means the 0b goes with the y-intercept. So b, that's where I got the negative 7/3 from. On 9, write an equation of the line through that point parallel to, that should say the line, I believe. Clearly mistyped that. My apologies. I'm going to take that equation, 6x minus 2y equals 3. If I'm doing a line parallel to that, I have to know its slope. So I'm going to solve for y. So I get y equals 3x minus 3 halves, or minus 1 1/2 if you would like. I'm really just concerned with the slope, which would be 3. Now I'm doing slope-intercept form of a line parallel to this. So I'm going to go up here since I'm running out of room. Y equals mx plus b. My y is 1. My x is 2, and those came from right here. My slope is 3, and then plus b. So I have 1 equals 5 plus b, so b equals -4. Oh, unless you can't multiply like me, my apologies. And let me pause this while I answer the phone. I apologize for that, if that phone rang. Back in here, I figured out my y-intercept, so when I go to do my slope-intercept form, it's y equals 3x minus 5. When I'm looking for a line that is perpendicular, I need to take this 3. My new slope is going to be, if I flip that and make that 1 over 3 and negative, it's the negative reciprocal. So I'm going to be using a negative 1/3 when I do this now. So I have y, actually, let's go ahead and put in, nope, oh no, those points. So the y value is 1, the x value is 2. My slope is now negative 1/3. So that's because it's a perpendicular line. I had to take this slope, flip it, and change the sign. So I have 1 equals negative 2/3 plus b. If I add 2/3 to both sides, you can either say 1 and 2/3, or you could have put 5/3 if you wanted to. But either way, it equals b. So over here, y equals negative 1/3 x plus either, again, 1 and 2/3 or 5/3. I would have accepted it either way. I think the 5/3 is probably a little bit easier for you to type in. Hopefully this clears up some of the big questions you guys had on the pretest, since I didn't get to go over it today in class. Again, for Tuesday, you just need to make sure that you understand how to do these problems. If there's still any that you have questions on, look in your book. In the examples for section P3, you will be working on those problems during class on Tuesday, though. That way I can still walk around and offer help. If you have large questions, feel free to send them to me on Edmodo, or send me an email.